buttons here. Okay, so that when we're looking at this, we want to just create our border like that. I know someone last week told me I was going too fast, so I'm going to try to slow down. So if you think I'm going too slow, I'm sorry, but we're going to kind of take it nice and easy here. So the first thing we want to do is, like, we're building this balcony. And so what you want to do is you want to get the part of the balcony, and when you're drawing it, you're going to do closest to you to the farthest away. When we're finishing it up, we're going to go farthest away to closest. So we kind of reverse ourselves. So the first thing I want to do is creating a rectangle. So I'm going to come over, and I come right off my inside floor. This is kind of the floor right here. I'm just going to kind of scribble on here this so you can see our floor is right in this area right here. And then what I want to do is just create a rectangle. Now, you guys can make it all the way attaching. I'm going to kind of stop it here. And one of the things that's interesting in elements of art that we were looking at is that Picasso was all about, you know, what was visually working. He was using those elements of art. Now, what happens, and I'm just going to show you, I'll get my eraser here, is that by stopping our balcony before we get to the edge of the paper or our picture, we kind of don't have the person's eye go all the way off the page. If this came all the way over here like this, it becomes this block that now is leading off. Right now we have it so it's stopped by having this little line. It's little tricks that artists use, and they've done it because their visual eye kind of tells them that. So you stop your balcony there. And then we're gonna, this is kind of the wall of the balcony. And then we're gonna come in here with 4 or 5, I like 5 lines here. So I'm gonna come in with a railing. Now what's interesting, and it was both Picasso, Matisse, and the modern artists, even Van Gogh would do it a lot, is that let people's eye finish some of your scenes. By just putting this up here, we've created the idea that this is a balcony. We don't have to have this coming all the way across. We're just kind of putting it out there, and it kind of has its own point there. So we have a balcony, base, and then we have a railing. So far, everybody should have those 2 items up. Okay, so then what I want to do is I'm going to come over here and I create some more rectangles. Now, one of the things that we're doing when we're looking at any artwork is a lot of times we're looking at repeating shapes. So I'm going to repeat with these rectangles, I'm repeating 3 more rectangles. And as I mentioned in the beginning, these rectangles can be seen as paintings on the wall or alcoves that may be open to the outside. It's kind of up to the artist. He had birds, pigeons, or doves in all of these. He loved, and you saw that from the pictures I was sharing with you. How many pictures of doves did he have in there? It's pretty amazing. I'm just going to grab a few here so you can see it again. Sometimes they look like they were plastered on the wall. Other times they were kind of just there, but they were almost always on the side. This one's kind of interesting because he's got like a crow or a blackbird there, but he's got his other doves all over the balcony here. I want to be in his studio, by the way. I'm just going to say that right out front here, because it overlooked the Mediterranean, and this studio was in Nice, and big opening there. And this one here is again, some of these here, as you're looking, you can see these different. He repeated this time and time again. It's those 3 squares. Most of the time it was 3, and 3 is more powerful than a 2 or a 4 because of the power of uneven numbers. Odd numbers are much more powerful visually. Okay, so we've got those there, and then what we want to do is we want to create the opening here. So you can come a couple different ways. I'm going to come off of here, this line coming off of my little balcony block there, and I want to come up, and I'm going to use a circle shape. So I'm going to just kind of bring it up. And I'm going to bring it up from close to the edge here. It doesn't have to line up exactly. So as you can kind of see, now I am drawing dark so you can see it. I always suggest people start light so they can kind of easily erase some of the things. So I've got my shapes there. Now some of the things that he had typically in his paintings is he would have these, I guess they were curtain rods or at least rods coming across. So we're going to have a couple of these. I'm just making these shapes up there. So we want to kind of get our shapes that we want in a row. We've got our floor up here. We've got our alcoves or our pictures. We've got the opening of the window looking outside. Now, and you saw with a number of the ones we were looking at that he had this beautiful scenery of looked like an island or at least some land coming in front of it. He also had this, in most of the cases, he had like a curtain or something that came from over here and coming down at a bit of an angle. So I'm using kind of my little C shape here to come down. Now this could be, in some cases, this was like a curtain, and in this one it is. But you could make it a tree if you wanted to, and you could make it more like a shape like this where it's coming in and it's more like a tree. And you could have a couple of trees that come in front. And I'm kind of going in that direction right now, that there's these, and these would be more like cypress trees. And that was what was really very prevalent in Nice, is cypress trees. So then what I want to do is I'm going to create something in this area around here, is the line that would come, and it can come all the way over like that. And that's going to be where the water, it's our horizon line, the sky and the water are meeting. It's also kind of where maybe you're going to make a little bit of, and we see that in this picture there's an island. I can show you some other ones. Sometimes it's fun to do kind of you can make it volcanoes, some trees, depending how far. If you want it to be closer, guys, we move our horizon line in here, or where the islands are, and then it becomes bigger. Here it's going to become smaller. So as an example, we're looking at this, and I'll just kind of draw this out so you guys can see what I mean. If this is our horizon line right over here, the land would be maybe much larger, where you could even see trees and things like that because it's closer. So you can see it closer. Now, if we're moving it back, we're taking those lines away. And this is the simple idea of perspective here. As we come back here with the line, we make those shapes a lot smaller. We do not see any detail. This is now ways away. Now, one of the things in this picture, I love this bird that's sitting up here. So I'm going to go ahead and do this lovely dove here. So I'm going to be coming over here, and he's sitting on a lattice. So I'm just going to make the triangle there. And I'm going to make the shape, kind of a shape here for a bird. I'm going to do another shape over here for a bird. There. and over here. So you just kind of go in and make the shapes. We don't want to really do so much as, but this kind of thing, we want to get all the pieces first. We want to get all our pieces lined up first, and then we can make the changes. The way that you do it like this, then if you want to make a change, you haven't added all these details in here, and we can easily move something. Example, if you wanted to move this so that this part maybe is here, so you move the line there, and then this becomes more, gives a little bit different space by that. So I'll take my eraser and I create it right here. So as we're looking at this, we see kind of this idea of creating this inside looking out. So we have this started here. I'm just going to say, is everybody got a good kind of handle on this? One of the things that you can do, there was lots of palm trees also. One of the things that's fun is to add a palm tree. So I would maybe come with my palm tree coming from the lettuce, inside the lettuce, okay. And kind of here, and then I'll make my palm tree is going to be kind of close because it's right off the, I'm just kind of sketching in a little bit of a palm here. Showing that it's going to be behind there, but you can easily create some items like that, just creating with a few lines, seeing if you like it or not. Another thing that we can do at this point is taking a look if we want to add some boats. So you can kind of come over here and then over in this shape. And you're going to come in with some sailboats. So you can add some things in the water here to create the water. Just giving kind of a quick idea. So once we kind of have this set up like we have it here, is then we're going to start looking at the details. We want to kind of start, I'm going to kind of go from the back to the front now, and I'm going to start adding things as we go. I'm going to get into a little bit, see if I can sharpen my pencil here. I'm losing my, oh, that one's worse. This one's better. Okay. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to just kind of bring in my horizon line again where it is. Okay, I kind of like that. Now I'm going to work, I want to look at some of the things that may get in front of that horizon line first. And it's going to be this bird right here. So I don't want to have all my details done and then have to erase my bird. So I'm going to come over here and kind of look at this bird, and I'm going to start by just kind of creating, I want his head to kind of come over this area here. So I'm going to make him a little bit bigger here. And what that kind of does is helps us read this a little bit better. And you're always looking at, when you're doing a drawing, you want to look at, okay, how does it read when a person's looking at this? Can they see, does this perspective make sense? This being in front of this line, if this bird comes right up to the top of that line, it kind of blends in there and you kind of lose it, kind of stops the eye. You want the eye to continue. So I'm going to go over there and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to work on an eye for this. Beak and some feathers. So all I'm doing kind of here is just creating this kind of larger Picasso style bird. He had the eyes and the beak, really kind of a fascinating way he was working with that. The body then is going to come in. I'm going to get some wing here. and come down. He's sitting on the trellis, so I'm going to give him a couple of lines here for his talons, his feet, and creating a quick little bird here. So then I've got, this is starting to read, and then I'm going to bring my horizon line over like that so that I can really see, make the definition of where it is clear. And then I'm going to come over. Now I can come back here and kind of look at how this is. I'm going to make it more like that. So I can kind of make my area look like it does there. Now with the trellis, I'm going to come in and it's going to be a 45-degree angle. I'm just going to bring in my lines. You don't have to do a trellis. You can make this solid too, but I think what I like is that this railing and this trellis kind of work off each other. And I like that it's see-through. So if we want to have something behind there, that we can. So I've got kind of my little trellis there. And I think as we go through it, you're sketching this, you're going to see that there's things that are going to catch your eye that you're going to want, and other ones, no, I'm going to go with something else. So one of the things that I like, and I kind of took off from, and I'll show you it in one of these Las Meninas again too, is these. He has a lot of these birds that are maybe going to be up on the other railing. You can have some talking to each other. You can have some, you know, in these different spots. I think that makes it really fascinating and fun. He has like this one here where they're kind of part of the decoration of the balcony too. And here in this one, you see some of the city underneath. Here's again the palm trees, the bird up there, and you're just kind of seeing how it's bringing, again, more of the palm trees. It's kind of fun things that you can kind of add as you're going here. So I'm going to go in here and add a couple of birds up close. So I was looking at these Picasso birds, and what he would do is he'd make these kind of oval shapes like this. And he'd start with that, and he'd put an eye in there. This is a typical, and then he'd come with a line right off the eye. We're going to erase this line right here. And then he comes with just some feathers coming out. So you get that idea of these. There's another one. We'll make another one up here. I think it's a husband and wife here. And we kind of come with these feathers. He's using these so just getting some fun kind of design. This gives us an ability to add some color and shapes here. This is fun with just black and white too. So what I've got is I've added these ones up front. Now I'm going to come over here. I'm going to look at some birds coming over here, and we've got these different ones, kind of somewhat the same on this one. So we have this kind of shape. I'm doing kind of this rounded shape here. And like typical, I do the eye first. So I'm going to come in, get a round eye, and the beak, and this is typical, the beak's coming right off the eye. Okay, so as you can see, I've got this kind of shape coming down. I'll have some feathers. Now, one of the things I do is sometimes I go inside the alcove, sometimes I go out. And what it allows us to do is kind of push the boundaries of where is it. So then I'm going to do a wing. I start with a C. It's an easy wing here. Creating it. You can give them some feathers if you want. So it's really, one of the things I look at is that you make the viewer do some work, okay, with this. And you can see with these Las Meninas, some of these birds are definitely birds. Some of them, are they birds? Are they part of the decor? And it's kind of interesting to look at it that way. I'm going to come back over here to my next one. And this one, and you're kind of seeing how not all of them are going to be facing this way. This one is, this one is, this one's going this way. So what you want to do is you want to keep switching things around so that, again, we're making the viewer look all around a picture. So in this case, this one looks more like it's flying. So I start again with the eye, and then the beak. And then I'm going to come just with this kind of ovally shape here. And then feathers. So it's like these birds are almost like flying heads almost. I'm going to add a little bit of a wing into this one here. So I'm kind of creating each one with its own little personality here. We've got one up here that we'll just kind of make a little bit taller. So I'm starting with this kind of C shape up here. It's kind of the upside down U, C shape like that. Start with the eye coming in. Triangle kind of beak. And then I want to do a wing. So to create the shape of my bird, going right from the head to the wing. Creating that teardrop shape. So I've repeated it 3 times here. I've got it here, and I'm coming back with it here. By repeating those shapes like that, we're always creating the pattern that really makes them work as a group versus just a single. Then I'm going to come, bring in his tail feathers, just with some lines here. And we can have him just on the alcove like that with his feet. So I kind of, depending on what it is, I'm always kind of playing with the different shapes and things here. So what I've got so far then, I've got these ones, and then I want to come, I'm just going to make my frames. These could be all pictures or alcoves. It's really how you decide to do it. I'm going to kind of make them a little bit more dimensional by using my pencil and shading them in. I'm wanting to have 3 rectangles that are similar but not the same. They kind of all have their little shapes that are a little bit different. So we've got those shapes there. I want to come back now looking at it. I say, okay, I've got some of these, and I want to look to see how everything is shaping up. So you kind of now are taking a look and saying, okay, let's see how this looks. What I'd be using here is if I wanted to, I like this as a simple pencil drawing. I can either use, and looks like I've used up my Q-tips. I'm going to use a tortillon or a blending stump here, and I'm going to create my, a Q-tip will work just fine for this also. And I'm going to just kind of come in to finish off my birds right here. I can also soften my lines that I had done with my tortillon here. Now, a tortillon typically has just got one end, it's rolled a piece of paper. This is a two-ended one. So since it's two-ended, I guess it's considered a blending stump. But if you're looking for art supplies, sometimes they're called tortillons too. So if you see that term, either one of them work, but they're just rolled up paper, and they have no, the graphite that you're using or charcoal or whatever color is going to come off of your drawing. And so as I'm doing this, I'm able to create my shape here for my balcony. And so I'm looking at this balcony and says, well, this balcony needs maybe some tile. So I'm going to come in here and just kind of create some tiles. And you don't have to do every single tile. You just want to get enough so that it reads as a tile floor. And I'm just kind of coming across with some tiles here. And then I'm just shading in some of my tile. I don't want it to take away from, excuse me, what's happening in the drawing. So I'm just kind of doing it a very subtle. And then I'll come in and blend. And what I'll do is I'll just blend the tiles. I'll leave anything else just as it is. Excuse me. So I just kind of come in and created my balcony floor. And I'm going to work on my design in front of the balcony, which is these birds/fishes. I think I mean, sometimes I look at these and I say, oh, they could be some sort of weird fish or something too. But creating just kind of a nice pattern there. So then I'm going to add my railing. I want to come and add a little more depth to it. So I'm going to thicken some of my lines. And as I'm making one change or another change, it affects everything. So then I'm always looking back, okay, because by doing those alcoves, I created something where I needed to make this a little bit chunkier to create it. So it's been part of that railing there. So make it look like it works. So I'm coming over here and I say, okay, maybe what happens if we put a little bird, even though it's closer to us, it can just be a little bird coming here. So we kind of come with a little bird. And I think that even though I kind of have the whole design done, I always look, okay, it maybe just needs something little here to kind of come over and push it back that direction. So I kind of come, and I can add just a little object there to create a little more interest. I'm going to come over with some waves. And then I'm going to make these a little bit So I have like these boats, and I'm going to use the tortillon here just to kind of get them onto the water. And in some of my other classes, I've shown how to create with pencil, also creating some clouds. But you want to, for some of the things for the sky or the water, you want to use the side of the pencil. So you can come in and just use the side just to kind of create. And I can use the tortillon again just to give me a nice kind of sky up there. I'll come in with my eraser to help with my waves. Eraser is as much a artist tool as anything else. So it really creates kind of another extra texture. Taking away is as important as anything else. And so then I'm just going to come in with some lines to create that background back there. So with these lines, I've kind of created this shape. Now I want to come to the background, the back of my area, and just kind of, I'm using the side of my pencil. I'm hitting some tape here, so I'm moving my picture around here a little bit. I just want to make sure you guys can see it. So in this case, you can see I'm doing a picture within a picture. So I've made a frame inside this picture. And it's kind of that whole Las Meninas idea. So the idea that we worked on today is that we've been drawing a picture looking out this window, but this is also a picture within a picture on a picture. So a lot of pictures going on here. And I noticed that with all these dark lines down here, I can use something up here. So I'm going to make these like curtain rods or these poles up here a little bit more evident. And I can kind of use I use the side of the pencil first, and then I come over here with the point. By using the side of the pencil, I'm able to create a new tip there on it. I kind of sharpen it without using a pencil sharpener. Okay. Now I'm going to come in with my eraser, kind of take out some of the lines I didn't want. And then I'll use the tortillon just to come through here for those lines. So you get kind of the whole feeling of where this is going now. To kind of, I can, as I'm looking at it and I'm doing it, what's nice is I see, okay, I can see now this tree or this shape here. It may be a curtain for some of you. It was a curtain in this one. It's a tree here, and it needs to have some more dimension. So you, as you go, you're going to continue to see these. So I'm coming in. I'm doing it with kind of this curved shape here. We can see that it's behind the railing. I made it from, at one point I think I had 3, and I've made it into kind of one more substantial unit here. So then I can come in and I'll accentuate some of the curves here. I don't want to go like this over it. What I want to do is just take and use the tortillon, or it may be your Q-tip, to just kind of give that these shapes here just some dimension. By going over all of them, you are going to end up losing them. So then I've got my tree, I've got my birds, and I can kind of see that it has a nice, clear picture of what it's going at. And I just wanted to see how everybody's doing. I know I've been doing a lot of talking here, going through step by step with this, but I think that these are ones, and like I said, this series has 52 paintings that go into this Las Meninas. It's the idea of looking out from within, and that's kind of how he explains his Las Meninas series. It was based off of the loss of his friend Henri Matisse. He was able to revitalize his work, and this was in, like I said, 1954 to 1956. He did these paintings. What was nice about this is that in those periods, he really was able to find himself again and recreate himself. Picasso probably recreated himself 10, 12 times throughout his career. He was doing stage design. He was doing posters for bullfights. He was doing all sorts of magazines. He was an entrepreneur, if nothing else. He was taking advantage of situations, but he was a true artist in that he pushed the envelope of what was out there to see new things. So I kind of wanted to share, it's a whole body of work, and I kind of wanted to use it as a way of talking a little bit about Pablo Picasso and how we can do this in our own work. A lot of times I like to do a whole series like this from the same spot. I'm going to take, and especially if you're working from home, you look out your kitchen or you have a deck, and taking this picture and repeating it for 7 days in a row is a great way of looking at this too. And you'll see how things change and what you can add and subtract. So I'm just going to see how everybody is doing here, and if anybody wants to share their work. Who's feeling like they want to? Let me see, Jaden. Oh, wow. Looks very nice. John, hold it a little bit farther away, closer to your face. Yep, back. There you go. Got it. Linda, looks great. Hannah, love it. Great, great. Yvette, I see it. Yep. Bring it back a little bit, Yvette. There you go. Nice. Lori, I like it. Yes, yes. I like how different everybody's is. Jithin, I like yours. Yes. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but Jithin's, yes. Very nice. Jane, I'm looking at that. Great. It's great to see, and I think it's inspiring to see these works. Teresa, very nice. Oh, yes. And I think that you can continue to build up and bring your picture slowly together and the different shapes. And you can see, and why I take a picture like this in particular is he did the same basic picture over 50 times. And the thing that I hate when I talk to people, oh, I've done that. Good. Do it another 50 times before you tell me that you've done it. Then you can say you've done it. And so that's why I take a look, because we learn more by doing it again and seeing where it's going. So that's kind of the little gem that I wanted to share with everybody today, is doing this project and seeing where it goes. You can try it several different times. And if you're in the art center at all and want to borrow this book, it's one of my favorites, but I do let it out. And it's Picasso's Las Meninas, as you can see right here. And it's one of those books where it really takes a look at a whole body of his work in an important time frame, where he went from being this person that was feeling sorry for himself, didn't know where he was going, to being energized and spurring him on to the next part of his life. Because remember, he's still painted for another 20 years after this. So and he lived to 92. I watched a show on him, and he's on his deathbed, and what does he say to his wife? Which Jacqueline, who didn't seem like a nice person, by the way, but he says to her, he says, "Can I get you something?" And he whispers, "Charcoal and paper." So that was his last wish. He still wanted to draw something. He had a new idea, even though it was his last breath. He was still, and I think that's what it keeps us going, is that drive of charcoal and paper, pencil and paper, pen and ink, whatever it takes, have fun with it. So that's my little story for today, and wanted to thank everyone for joining me. I know that I've got another project I'm working on. I'm going to switch cameras so I can talk to you versus you guys seeing, is that I'm working on a project for Tuesday. I'm hopefully at the end of summer going to be traveling, but I'm hoping to take my laptop and continue doing these lessons as I'm traveling. So keep posted on our website, and I'll have more different projects coming up. Terrific. I want to thank everyone.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
This
Thank
was great.
you.
Thank you, Larry.
You're welcome.
Thank
You guys are great.
Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot. You made my day. I had a hard day today, but these smiling faces help. Thank you.